Well, good morning. Dr. Barton here with you. Decided to do a little different style on the weekly video. I was at my barber yesterday, got myself a haircut, as you may can tell, or maybe not. And there was a customer service issue. And I just wanted to talk about this customer service issue today. So basically there was this guy, as I walked in, he was sitting in one of the chairs. He had been there already. I had a 10 o'clock appointment and the lady that cuts my hair was still busy. So about 10:20, this guy he was very kind of antsy and impatient, it seemed, and I could read that body language on him. And he mentioned to the little receptionist, it was actually a gentleman there, and he said, hey, you know what, I had a 10 o'clock appointment, what's the status, or my next, or whatever the case may be. And I don't think that this customer service issue was handled appropriately, and so immediately it kind of made everyone uncomfortable. There were several other people kind of waiting. He had been waiting again already, because when I walked in, he was already in there. And the first response that the receptionist said was, can I reschedule your appointment, or can we schedule another appointment for you? And it was a little bit, kind of took me aback a little bit. Again, it kind of made me feel uncomfortable. The lady that cuts my hair is kind of the manager of the place. She kind of chimed in and said something to the effect of, yeah, well, coming here, we're kind of short-handed, and coming here is a little bit like going to the doctor's office. And I guess I didn't even think about this, but to some degree, her even making that comment, I guess it's okay to wait at a doctor's office. Well, in my opinion, it's not necessarily okay, and I think that could have been handled many different ways. And the quote on the video today is, "A smile is the light in your window that tells others that there is a caring, sharing person inside." Of course, Dennis Waitley. And I think the point here is that a smile can show a genuineness and a level of empathy. And if your smile is sarcastic in any kind of way, like if you smiled and said, "We can reschedule your appointment if you would like," or something to that effect, that's not really genuine. And that's, it's kind of making the customer service interaction almost a competition with the customer, and that's never appropriate. We have to make a customer first in every situation. And frankly, he was in the right. He had an appointment at 10 a.m. and it was here at 10:20, and he was next. But the whole time I was sitting there, there was never any, communication with him. It's kind of an open concept place. There was never any communication that said, "Sir, I apologize. I know your appointment's at 10 o'clock. You are next." She's, finishing up shampooing right now, or just kind of, keeping him apprised on the process. Then he could have said, "Well, I do have somewhere to be at 11. And the exchange could have been something like, "Sir, may I ask your drive time? I think we can get this in depending on what your drive time is." He could have been sensitive to the fact that they're making this gentleman wait. And he wasn't sensitive to that fact, and he had not been trained, I would presume, on how to handle customer service issues, but that could have been handled more that way. So a couple of points to make is, if a customer or a patient has an appointment and the doctor is behind, keep the customer updated about every 10 minutes or as appropriate. I think that's a good thing to do. And if that gentleman had been kept, apprised of the situation kind of ahead of time, then the conversation never would have been had, and it would have been uncomfortable. Another point to make is, if the customer has been inconvenienced, show genuine empathy for their inconvenience. And empathy is, I think we've talked about this in another video, but it's the ability to understand or put yourself in someone else's shoes that you're not necessarily going through at that particular point in time. So, sympathy is, you've been there, you've done that, and probably sympathy would work as well, because we've all been somewhere sometimes and maybe not, been seen right on time. So I think we can put ourselves in people's shoes and show empathy or sympathy. And then we can also offer them something in return for their time spent, make it right. In a chiropractic setting, we could offer them a little bottle of BioFreeze, spend $6 or $7. Hey, I really apologize. Here's a bottle of BioFreeze, on us. We can, we want to make this right for you. We don't want to, we value your time. We value your patronage. And again, you have to say that with genuineness, and with a smile on your face as well. But people can tell when you're genuine, and they can tell when you have almost like an axe to grind, or you're trying to be combative in any way. And if anyone in our organizations takes the stance with a customer that is more combative or an axe to grind, then we have a problem. And we need to cherish and recognize that these customers that come into our businesses, our chiropractic offices, or whatever, they're always right, with rare exceptions, but they're pretty much right. And we need to value them and make them feel valued, and that comes from a genuineness. So that's that's the point of today's video. So everyone needs to be sensitive to customer wait times and be sincerely empathetic when the customer is made to wait longer than they should, or when problems occur. So with that, have a great week. I will talk to you next week.